After reestablishing normal breathing and bracing, we know that the client has a good understanding of how to contract their abs, is breathing normally, and is therefore ready to move into exercises like planks that involve a little bit more stress to the abdominals. Really the purpose of a plank is to maintain this bracing contraction while holding in this position, resisting the force of gravity, resisting the urge to extend the back while maintaining plank position. The other thing that we want to think about with a plank is teaching a neutral spine. Really, the plank has a good carryover to the ability to squat, and kind of learn this neutral spine position we're talking about during exercise. So what we're going to do to begin with here is start a client on all fours. All right, I'm just going to ask the client to perform what's called a cat camel. So we're going to go into kind of the full flexion phase. This is kind of the in range of the client's flexion motion. This would be the in range of the client's extension motion. And then I'm going to ask the client to find a neutral spine. So maybe a slight arch in the back, but no more than that. Like that is the client's sweet spot. And this is where we kind of want to lock this in. So once the client finds this, once I show them and I tell them what I'm looking for here, I'm gonna help them. I'm going to help them cue this thing. I'm going to stop them here, and I'm going to say again, this is your sweet spot. This is what I want you to look at and kind of focus on maintaining. All right. Once that is the case, we're going to kind of lock this in. We're going to raise up into a plank in this position, and what I'm going to do to help the client do this is I'm going to place a dowel rod on their back. Okay. What this is going to do is give the client kind of an indicator of, okay, here's my back position. We want to, and I'm going to tell them I want them to maintain this dowel rod on their back. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just raising up into this plank position and I'm holding here. All right, I'm trying to maintain this abdominal contraction, and I feel the position of the back because my head is remaining in line with the dowel rod. My spine is remaining in line with the dowel rod, and really we want to make sure that all of these points of contact are maintained. At the same time, you can be poking the client's stomach, you can be making sure that they're maintaining that abdominal contraction. Really, and if they start to sag, they're going to know it because they're going to feel this thing start to slide off. The head might lose contact. Really, if anything loses contact, then we know that that is time to shut down the test, kind of keep track of how long that they can hold it with proper form, and progress them as we go along. Now, once the client is able to hold just in this basic position for 30 seconds, we're going to progress the plank by simply raising the feet up. So what I'm going to do is ask the client to elevate their feet on a step. Again, just hold in this neutral position. This elevation just creates a little more tension in this area. Just holding the same position applies. You can, again, put the dowel rod back. The point is just to maintain this brace while holding here. Okay, our third and final static progression would be a unilateral stance. So I'm going to bring the client back to the floor. I'm going to come into a plank position here, and I'm going to raise one foot off the ground. All right. The goal is not to rotate the torso, to both prevent rotation and extension. So we're adding a little more difficulty to here. I would hold for 10 to 15 seconds on one side, 10 to 15 seconds on the other side. And really, that's a great way to iron out, pelvic rotation imbalances, issues on one side or the other, and that would be the final step in our planking progression. Once the client's able to do that, we can get into some more what we call moving or mobile plank progressions to train movement of the extremities around a stable core. So that would be things like a planked push-up, crawling out with the hands, tucking the knees in. The main thing throughout all of this is that the torso stays level. Really, the sky's the limit with that. We're going to ask the client to hold for 30 seconds or more throughout each of these planking phases, and then move into the moving progressions, for anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. And that is our fifth and final step.